ones.
Ask your question again, Laura.
When you would have a box of 4 airplanes explode all at once, was that because one plane would blow up and then it would cause flak?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it became flak too.
Did they ever adjust their tactics because of that? Or they continue to fly in boxes? Well,
Yeah, we always flew in boxes, but that was for protection against fighters.
fighters.
And also your bombing pattern would be tight. That was the purpose of the flying tight formation.
Now, did you have fighter support yourself?
Yeah, we had they were stationed up at north of Foggia.
Right, they would be as far north as they could get.
Yeah,
I mean,
because of
the
gas.
range. The range, yeah. So you would see the dogfights going on as you were flying?
Yeah, and they would escort us going up, and then we'd lose them because they'd have to go back. They didn't have the distance, and they weren't about to fly over flak anyhow. That was ridiculous. So, but they would be where they knew the fighters would be.
And the enemy fighters would also not be in the flak areas. They'd get shot out of the sky by their own people.
Yeah, the enemy fighters wouldn't fly into the flak. No.
So would they generally be? Would you hit the enemy fighters between flak or at before
Yeah, well,
flak? Or
the fighters would hit us before usually we got to the initial point, and then they would peel off because we'd be getting flak from then on. And then when we'd come off of the target, we'd still be getting flak, but they wouldn't hit us until we got away from the flak.
What was more dangerous, the fighters or the flak?
Flak, much more dangerous.
Why was that?
Because the fighters just weren't that good. And then we had, you got to realize, we had the tail gunner, we had the 2 waist gunners, we had the Sperry ball gunner, we had the top gunner, and we had the nose gunner. You had 6 times 2. You had 12 machine guns that were protecting the airplane. And then you had a box of 4. So you can see that you had pretty good defense. Now that didn't mean they couldn't come through, but you could see the bullets hitting the fighter aircraft coming in. It'd blow up.
But was there? I mean, would you only fight? Would you only fire if they weren't? Because in a dogfight with your own fighters, you're not going to be firing at them.
Oh no.
It'd only be when you were
when they were attacking. Yeah. And they'd sometimes come straight in. Other times they would have what they call a pursuit curve, where they'd come in at, from the top like this, and then come in this way, and catch you either on the side or on the tail. But if they came in at the tail, they were coming straight in, and that tail gunner had a straight shot at him. Just like shooting a duck going directly away from him is a lot easier than if he's going to the side.
Right. Now I heard a famous story about you all getting frustrated because the 8th Air Force was getting a lot of publicity because there were a lot of famous people in the 8th Air Force. Don't tell us about that.
Well, they had a newspaper that came out, and of course the newspaper was always full of the stuff that the 8th Air Force had done and not the 15th Air Force. And one of the newspaper articles was they had dropped everything except the kitchen sink. So they got a kitchen sink and dropped it with their bombs. So we were coming back from Foggia, and there was a farmhouse, and we went to the farmhouse, and there was a toilet. So we took the toilet, and the next mission we went up on while we dropped the toilet on the target. We never got written up in the paper. But it was satisfaction.
Now I remember I read Catch-22, which I doubt you ever read, but Catch-22 was all about what you did. It was a novel about what you did.
Yeah, but they were B-25s.
But they talked about all the evasive action that pilots took after you dropped your load.
Yeah.
And how crazy that could get. Now that's the way it was described in the novel. Was that also the true? Would you guys do?
No, we would stay in formation.
Yeah.
For protection.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the whole idea of formation flying. You take all of those airplanes with all of those guns, and a fighter would come in, and he's getting shot up by 24, 50 caliber machine guns. but they